Hello, everybody. We continue to explore the coast of Central California. This time, we are going to check out two shore access locations near the San Mateo Bridge that spans across San Francisco Bay, connecting Peninsula and East Bay. The traffic is almost always heavy on this bridge, so it's quite noisy nearby. It is also windy quite often. There are two parking spots near the bridge in Foster City on both the south and north sides. They are connected by a well-maintained road used by hikers and bicyclists alike. We will start from south and leave the car at the small park called Bridgeview Park. It has a few picnic tables and restrooms, by the way. We will walk under the bridge, but first we will get a glimpse of the remnants of the previous version of the San Mateo Bridge, dated back to 1929, almost a century ago. It's cold and it's windy most of the time. Somewhere on the horizon is the Coyote Point Park and San Francisco International Airport. I'm sure you'll see plenty of the airplanes getting ready to land. Huge rocks cover the shoreline to protect it from erosion, but there is a ramp made of concrete leading to a tiny beach. Warning, it is slippery. As you can imagine, the marine fauna of the muddy bay is different from that of a rocky open ocean shore. Let's take a closer look. First thing anybody would notice are the bright red and orange spheres rolling in the murky waters. At first glance, they look like artificial bath sponges, but they are actually living organisms. The name of the species is Clathria prolifera, and it is a branching sponge. And sponges are not colonies, but rather one of the world's simplest multicellular organisms. You can easily recognize limpets and oysters. Actually, there are plenty of the thin, semi-transparent oyster shells or their fragments, looking like flower petals. The shallow bay is the kingdom of clams. They are filter feeders, and as such, they pass the water through a tube called a siphon into their gills, where the food particles get trapped and directed towards the digestive system. The filtered water is being extruded from the clam's body via another siphon. In this particular species, known as the Manila clam or Japanese carpet shell, the siphons are almost completely fused, except for the very tips. They are also short, which is the reason for another common name for the mollusk, little neck clam, or Japanese little neck clam. This is also why these clams can't hide too deep in the mud and get eaten by all kinds of animals: shorebirds, bat rays, crabs, predatory snails, and of course, people. Although, I would highly recommend to avoid eating anything from the bottom of the bay near a huge modern city, especially San Francisco, with its poisonous heavy metal heritage from the gold rush era. I'm referring to the bulk amounts of mercury used to extract gold during the famous gold rush that gave a jump start to the development of the West Coast. We found a few pennies, totally destroyed by corrosion. Some pebbles are bluish-green and resemble jade, but likely represent a local mineral called serpentine. The boulders are quite interesting to explore, but dangerous to climb on. The small, knobby, whorled shells belong to gastropods with a common name, Atlantic oyster drill. It hunts mussels and oysters and finds the prey by the traces of chemicals emitted by the poor clams. Then it bores a hole in the shell using a mechanical action in combination with dissolving chemicals. During low tide, the mollusks hide in the mud, but at high tide, they crawl on the bottom using a wide foot. The lifespan is between 5 and 8 years. The clean shells actually look pretty cool, but they are small. The greenish shells with brown stripes are greenbag mussels, also known as the Asian date mussel. The white clouds climbing from the ocean side of the ridge into the Bay Area are fun to watch and one of my favorite local landscape features. They are so fairy tale-like and mysterious. If you walk further north along the paved walk, you'll see another small beach, which is good to launch a kayak. Windsurfers like this place because it has a convenient parking lot and a large area covered with artificial grass, a great spot to set up your gear. We visited this place another day and walked past the golf club to get closer to the water on this interesting beach covered with shells. The coolest among them are probably horn snails, with the Latin name Cerathidiopsis californica. The snails are native Californian species. Their population suffers from multiple parasites and competition from an Atlantic gastropod, Tritia absoluta, that invaded San Francisco Bay Area. Just think about it. Humans moving their ships all over the world created challenges for sea ecosystems, and in many cases, it's a real mess. Well, enjoy the beauty of local nature while you can, because nothing lasts forever. All we can do is to try preserving the diversity of marine life just a bit longer. A few generations, or maybe more. Let's hope for the best. Good luck!